Welcome to Channel Tech for Leaders. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the roles of the CIO and the head of applications, and we're going to explore how they tackle today's biggest IT and business challenges. All right, let's kick things off with a number that should really make you sit up and listen. 80%. So what's that? Well, that's the percentage of cyber attacks that target the application layer. And that one stat tells you everything you need to know about why the leaders we're talking about today are so incredibly important. They're on the front lines defending the biggest battlefield in corporate IT. And defending a battlefield like that, it takes a rock-solid strategy. So here's our game plan for today. First, we'll set the stage with a modern digital challenge. Then we'll break down the role of the CIO, and after that, the head of applications. Then we'll see how they have to come together to face shared threats. And finally, we'll look at the skills they both need to not just survive, but to win. You know, the digital world today feels like a constant tug of war. On one side, you've got this immense complexity. You've got these major threats like the cyber attacks we just talked about. But on the other side, you have these incredible opportunities, right? AI is now being embedded in pretty much every enterprise solution, and it's promising completely new ways to create value. Navigating that tension, well, that's the core challenge for tech leaders today. So let's start with the CIO. Look, the days of the CIO being just a back-office tech manager, those are long, long gone. The role has totally evolved. Today's CIO is a C-suite business strategist, a real visionary who helps shape the entire direction of the company through technology. Gartner actually has the perfect term for this: chief orchestrators. I mean, that just brilliantly captures what the modern CIO does. It's not about just managing the tech anymore. It's about conducting this grand symphony of different systems, departments, and priorities to make sure they all work in harmony to deliver real, tangible business value. And that orchestration, it happens through these key functions. Because the CIO has end-to-end visibility across the entire company, they can spot and fix these huge bottlenecks that other people can't even see. They're actively shaping business strategy, not just reacting to it. And a huge part of their job is taming what we call shadow IT. You know, all those unapproved apps and tools that departments go out and buy on their own, and folding them into a smart, secure strategy. Okay, now for our second key player, the head of applications. So if the CIO is the orchestrator, you can think of the head of apps as the lead architect. They're the ones building the bridge that connects technology to the daily pulse of the business. They oversee the whole enterprise application ecosystem. And I mean everything, from your ERP and CRM to really specialized systems on the factory floor. And if you want to understand just how massive this role is, you just got to follow the money. Take a look at this. Software spending eats up nearly 60% of a typical IT budget. That huge financial responsibility, it falls squarely on the head of applications. That makes their financial discipline and how they govern that spending absolutely mission critical. And their job covers the entire application lifecycle. Seriously, it starts all the way at the beginning with budgeting and planning, then it moves through managing these complex vendor relationships, and it extends all the way to making sure everything's secure, compliant, and that users are getting the day-to-day support they need. They're the ones making sure the core systems that run the business are reliable, safe, and actually doing what they're supposed to do. So here's the most important point of all. Neither of these leaders can succeed on an island. The CIO's grand strategy is completely useless without the flawless execution from the head of applications. And that whole application ecosystem, it can't be effective without the strategic vision and the C-suite buy-in that the CIO provides. When they aren't working together, you get more than just inefficiency. You get risk, you get wasted money, and you get missed opportunities. They have to present a united front. And this is where that collaboration is it's not a nice to have, it's an absolute must. Things like enforcing IT governance, making sure you're patching security holes with real discipline, and implementing DevSecOps, which just means baking security right into the development process from day one, not trying to bolt it on at the end. All of that requires the CIO and head of apps to be perfectly in sync. Okay, theory is great, but let's make this real with an actual example. The manufacturing world is a fantastic case study, especially with this challenge of IT/OT convergence. And what that really means is integrating your business IT systems with the operational technology, the OT that's running the actual factory floor, like all the control systems and sensors. So in the old model, right, you had these deep, disconnected silos. There were huge cultural divides between the office folks and the factory folks. But when the CIO and head of applications partner up, they can actually bridge that gap. And the results? They're transformative. You get a unified security posture, huge gains in productivity, and some serious cost reductions. It's a total game changer. So what about the next wave of tech? Is this explosion of AI and cloud a massive opportunity, or is it just a potential overload? See, together, these leaders have to figure out how to take advantage of things like predictive analytics, while at the same time managing some very real risks like data privacy and algorithmic bias. It's a strategic tightrope walk they absolutely have to perform together. Which brings us to the final piece of this puzzle. What does it really take to be a successful CIO or head of applications today and tomorrow? Well, it all comes down to building a kind of hybrid, future-proof skill set. Take a look at these skills. I mean, of course, cybersecurity expertise is critical, but notice how it's balanced by things like strategic business acumen, inspirational leadership, and clear communication. The best tech leaders today are business leaders first and tech experts second. They have to be resilient, and they have to drive an innovation mindset through the entire organization. So, the bottom line is this. The identity of these roles has been completely transformed. They are no longer just managers of technology. They are true business partners. They are the guardians of digital trust for the whole company. And maybe most importantly, they are the primary agents of change. And that really leaves us with one final critical question that every single organization needs to ask itself. It's the ultimate test for this powerful leadership duo. Is your leadership truly turning technology vision into a real, sustainable competitive advantage? I hope you enjoyed today's session. If you did, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel bring you more insights into how today's digital leaders are navigating the revolution in their workplaces.